Hello, Daily Drafters. Today is Monday, December 6th, and thanks for joining me for today's Daily Draft. We've got another Innistrad Crimson Vow draft on deck for you all today. Had a nice little bit of a streak going. I think we've had 3 straight winning drafts in a row, a trophy plus 2 4-3s. So hopefully today can continue that. The format seems to be settling in a bit of a nicer place than the first week or two when the decks weren't completely refined and the bombs were just running crazy. Now it seems like the decks have found a little bit more of a focus, which allow them to compete into the late game against some of these bombs. Not all of them, obviously, but I feel like we're able to compete a little bit better if we don't have some of these big bombs in our deck, right? So here, let's take a look at pack 1, pick 1. Commons of note, Drogskull Infantry. Is that it? I mean, I don't mind playing a knife, but I'm not happy to take any of these cards in pack 1. Restless Bloodseeker's good, Circle of Confinement. I wouldn't be unhappy taking here. Path of Peril is interesting because it's basically a black-white gold card. Rats are great. We just saw it yesterday ruin one of our games by destroying all our creatures, and then they went on to win. I think it's too high upside to not take it here. The bad news is the next 3 best cards in this pack are probably Circle, Restless Bloodseeker, and Drogskull Infantry, and they're all black-white. So we're basically saying we want to be black-white by taking Path of Peril here, and maybe we can be black-X and splash-white to splash the cleave cost of this, because I don't think we want to be casting 1 black-black, destroy all 2 or less mana value creatures. We want to be casting this for 6 to destroy all creatures. So we're going to go ahead and take that. And really not follow it up with much here. Iruth Tormented Prophet is probably the best card. So I think I'm just going to go ahead and take that. There's a Markov Walter as well, which is good. This is completely different than our pick 1, but I mean, if we want to follow up Path of Peril with something, what are we taking here? Evolving Wilds? Rottide Gargantua? We're really not missing out on much, if we're being honest. So I think we're just going to take Iruth and see which of these paths is open here. Okay, so here we have Valorous Stance. This is a really good pack here. So we've got Magma Pummeler, which is an objectively fine card. It doesn't really go with Iruth particularly well. Brinecomber is amazing. Every deck I've had one of these in has been really, really great. Wolfstrike is fine, but we don't have a green card yet, and we have no reason to want to get into green for that. Gluttonous Guest goes well with Path of Peril. There's nothing that goes particularly great with the Iruth here. Valorous Stance goes fine with Path of Peril as well, but that kind of locks us into black-white. There's a lot of routes you could really go here. I think Gluttonous Guest is probably maybe the correct pick, but I think Brinecomber has the highest upside. Unfortunately, with the first 3 picks, we've kind of taken 3 cards that go in completely different decks, but they're all insanely good cards in each of those decks, respectively. See, now Wandering Mind goes great with the Iruth here. If we wanted to go on the Path of Peril route, we'd be looking at Honored Heirloom, which I don't really want to consider here. Brinecomber, Cradle of Safety, and Catgeist is good in that deck. And then in the Iruth deck, Kessig Flame Breather and Wandering Mind are good. So we're going to go ahead and take Wandering Mind to pair with the Iruth here. Okay, now, interestingly enough, no blue-red. Cradle of Safety goes with Brinecomber well. Don't really want Frenzied Devils. Bloodcrazed Socialite is fine in a black deck. Heron Blessed Geist goes really well with Brinecomber. This draft has been very, very difficult to read so far. I don't think it's been worth trying to just put our head down and go down a single path so far, because if we'd done that, we would have missed out on some decent amount of power. All these cards are pack 1, pick 1-able, I think. And we just need to figure out which lane for our seat we need to go down. I'm going to go ahead and take the Geist here. I know we're, again, kind of towing the line, but here we are. All right, so we've got Edgar's Awakening to go with Path of Peril. We've got these mediocre black cards. Reckless Impulse goes very well with the Ruth and Wandering Mind. Radiant Grace is fine with Brine Comer and Heron Blessed Geist. These cards are okay. Syncopate lets us kind of toe the line between blue-red and blue-white. I think the card with the highest upside here, I don't necessarily know. I think I'm going to go down the blue-red route and take Reckless Impulse. I've really, really liked that card in basically any red deck. And it goes well with Wandering Mind. It's fine with the Ruth. There's another Impulse. There's a Wedding Security, a Heron of Hope. This has been a very, very difficult draft so far. When in doubt in this format, I think taking the cheaper cards is of utmost importance. So I think that's why I'm going to lean towards another Reckless Impulse here. I know we're kind of ditching this Path of Peril, but again, like I said, this is almost a black-white gold card, and while we are seeing a lot of black and white here, I don't know, it's our only card that really goes with this deck. Okay, so here's the first real signal that I've seen. A pick 8 Diregraph Scavenger tells me that black might be the color that's open at this seat. Unfortunately, we only have Path of Peril for black, and our blue-red is pretty good so far. We can consider going black-red, splashing the cleave cost of this, which is fine. I think Diregraph Scavenger is by far and away the best card in this pack, so I think we're going to take it here and see what comes. And then instantly there's no more black cards in the pack. And here we are again. There's a Ceremonial Knife, which I like, which can go in really any decks, although in blue-red I don't think it's at its best because our creature count's going to be a little low. I think I'll take Siphon Essence, which can go in blue-white or in blue-red. And hope that we get maybe a little bit more of a black signal here, which we do not. So we know we don't want any of these cards. I don't like Officiant. I'll take Sure Strike. Don't really want any of these cards either, but this is colorless if we end up a little low on playables here. Kessig Flamebreather is a good sign for the blue-red deck here. So we'll definitely go ahead and take that. Don't think I'm considering playing either of these cards in Doomed Dissenter. So a bit of a messy pack one. We don't really have much of a direction until we realize that we opened Anji here. So I think trying to go black-red, maybe not even necessarily vampires, because we're going to have a lot of vampires in this deck anyway. But black-red value spells, good cards, right? Path of Peril plus Anji is a good black start, and I think we need to try to hold on to black for dear life now that we have Path of Peril and Anji in black. Just as I say that, the only black card in this pack is Ragged Recluse. If we're thinking of going black-red, trying to splash Path of Peril, we can think about wheeling the Honored Heirloom, and we could take something like Raconteur out of this pack, which I think is fine. Right now we have 1, 2, 3-ish non-creatures, but that can very easily go up. Black and red have a lot of good removal spells. Honored Heirloom could help us splash the Path of Peril. Ceremonial Knife would be fine in this deck as well. We'll go ahead and take the Raconteur here. No black cards. There's a Dormant Grove, which I like, but we're not getting into green. The only black or red card is Sure Strike, so this is a little disconcerting here. There's a Cruel Witness and a Siphon Essence. If we want to lean back towards blue-red, which we do have a good deck. If we go blue-red, we can splash Anji. And you don't really even need a ton of vampires to make Anji good. If we go blue-red, which card would I want? Probably Cruel Witness. I mean, Arm the Cathars, I don't think we're going white at this point. We don't need a Sure Strike. We probably wheel one of these if we want. I think it's between Cruel Witness and Siphon Essence, so let's take the Cruel Witness here. Oh my gosh, this draft is probably the most difficult draft I've had of this format so far. Go ahead and let me know in the comments which direction you might have gone in this draft. And if anything would have gone differently for you, because this has so far been very, very difficult. We have another Brine Comer, which is amazing, but we are so far away from blue-white, I don't think we can consider it. If we're going black-red, Doomed Dissenter, or Weary Prisoner, if we're going blue-red, really not much. I mean, there's not a lot here. The best card's Brine Comer, and I'm not going to miss any of this other stuff, so I'm just going to go ahead and take the Brine Comer. Okay, good. Good sign here. We do see a Diagraph Scavenger to go with our best black and red. So I think we're going to go ahead and take the Diagraph Scavenger. We have a Pointed Discussion probably being the best card in the pack. There's a Dawn Heartgeist to go with the blue-red plan, but as much as I like double Brine Comer, right now we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 playables in blue-white, and we're basically halfway through the draft, which is not good. And in black-red, we have our 2 best cards. So I'm going to go ahead and take Pointed Discussion, and I think at this point we need to really lock in on black-red and make sure we get to enough playables here. So we're binning a lot of things to the sideboard here, but maybe we can lean a bit more of a black-red spells route now that we have double Flame Breather and Raconteur. If we cast Pointed Discussion, if we cast Path of Peril with double Flame Breather and Raconteur on the battlefield, it deals 4 to them before the creatures die, which is good. There's another Sure Strike, a Ghoul, a Recluse, an Ancestral Anger. There's a Whispering Wizard, which is nice, but I think we're going down black-red here. We already have a Sure Strike, probably don't need another. Our creature count isn't particularly high. Exploiting isn't going to be ideal for us. We'll take our first Anger and see if we can maybe build an Anger package. Evolving Wilds is great to help us splash the cleave cost of Path of Peril here. So we'll go ahead and take the Evolving Wilds. Honored Heirloom can help do that too. Unfortunately, we're not seeing any black or red cards happen anywhere in this pack. Again, I don't think we're going to play 2 of these, but none of the other cards matter. Here we are with 14 playables. So in the last pack, we need 9 cards. It's going to be pretty difficult. We do have a Blood Servitor, a Weary Prisoner, and a Doomed Dissenter that we could play in an absolute emergency. But we're hopefully not looking to do that. Okay, a Braid. Great pickup here for our deck. We do have a little bit of life gain for the Courier Bat with the Scavenger. That's about it. And Anji, I guess, technically. So we could, with Anji, you could sacrifice a creature, gain 2 life, play a Courier Bat, get that creature back, which is pretty nice. But I don't think we can consider taking that over a Braid here. So we're going to go ahead and slam a Braid. Yeah, so very, very difficult, messy draft that I hope comes out all right on the back of Path of Peril and Anji here. We don't have the greatest of red-black decks, and we hope we can pick up maybe a Bleed Dry here, or just efficient black-red creatures. Maybe a Blood Tithe Harvester would be a great pickup for us. But we'd like to not have to play any of the cards on our sideboard. We can hopefully build a deck with what we can get left in pack 3 here. Okay, so we have another Scavenger. We have a Flame Blessed Bolt, another Anger, a Voldaren Epicure. All these are good cards. This pack is absolutely stacked. Dorothea, Whispering Wizard, Markov, Sigardian Paladin, Drogskull, all 4 of these cards, even the Scob. I mean, every single one of these cards is something I'd be happy to put in a deck. Looks like blue-white could have been a good deck here. But gosh, you know, with our double black and red rares, that's where we needed to go. Let's take the efficient removal spell here in Flame Blessed Bolt, one of the top commons. Maybe we can wheel Anger and get that second Ancestral Anger going. We're only at 6 creatures, which is fine because we have Path of Peril. So we're not looking to play a ton of creatures in this deck. Easy Rending Flame here. We'll go ahead and take another removal spell. We do have to think at some point how we're winning games, because basically how I see this deck playing out right now is we play maybe a 2-drop-ish to kind of settle the board, remove their creatures. At some point we cast Path of Peril to remove everything, but then what do we have left over? Not a lot. So we do have to figure out some sort of way to push some damage through here. But we'll take another bolt. We're just mono removal in this deck. We're just going to remove everything. That's what it seems like. So Wedding Security, Blood Fountain, and the Festivities. I think Blood Fountain is exactly what this deck needs, because we don't have a lot of creatures, but they're likely going to be going to the graveyard via trading or being wrathed, and this helps us get them back. It also makes a blood token for us. There is Wedding Security, but we're not looking to be an enormous blood token deck. In fact, we don't have a single way to make a blood token at the moment, except for Point of Discussion and Anji. Only one vampire here, so. All right, good pickup with Celebrants. That gets us 2 more blood tokens. We could have had 3 Brinecombers. Wow. Maybe blue-white was the right deck, but again, like I said, it was very, very difficult to figure out exactly which route to go there. Okay. Probably just another Celebrant. So take a look at our curve. I think it's fine to take another Celebrants here. Again, 2 more blood tokens, which is great. We'll take a Flame Breather. We have 13 non-creature spells, which is great. 3 Flame Breathers and a Raconteur is fine. We don't need a second Sure Strike. I think we even have another one here. No, we don't, but we don't need a second one. Would prefer to not even play the first. So we got the Courier back, which is fine. Worst case is a 3-mana 2/2 flyer, which in this deck we might just need. Wow, yeah, blue-white was the deck, wasn't it? We could have wheeled Dorothea. So yeah, looks like blue-white might have been the deck for our seat here, but here we are with the black-red deck that I think it seems fine. Not outstanding, maybe a 7 out of 10 or so. Let's take Combatants. I'd prefer to not play it if I can get away with it. Same thing with these 2 cards. I'd like to put Sure Strike in the board, at least for now. We might be able to main deck Aim for the Head, to be honest. We have a lot of 1-for-1 removal. This gives us a little bit of a 2-for-1. Last pick Brinecomber. Oh my gosh. Okay. The deck that could have been, fortunately. I feel like if we had opened a good white or blue rare in pack 1 instead of Path of Peril, we would have ended up with the nuts blue-white deck here. But all right, so deck building, we've got 17 lands currently, 39 cards, so we need to add 1 more card here. So let's sort and see what we have. We've got 10 creatures, which is fine. We don't need a ton. We have no way to win except for through damage here. And Anji hopefully not getting exiled and returning her with Blood Fountain. We're just kind of grind through our opponents with Double Bolt, a Braid, Aim for the Head, Rending Flame, Path of Peril, obviously. So that's how we're going to, and then kind of get them down damage-wise with Raconteurs and Flame Breathers, and then try to push through the last little bit there. So let's go and see what card we could add. I may not prefer to play this Anger, considering we only got 1 of them. We don't have Sacrifice, so we don't want Dissenter. We're not looking to be aggressive, so we don't want Combatants. Weary Prisoner may not be awful in this deck, to be honest. Maybe we could just play a Blood Servitor to get an extra blood token. This helps hold down the ground a little bit for us. Make sure we don't die. So I'm not a huge fan of this card, but I think it's fine to put in this deck. And I think I will keep an Anger. It's at least a cantrip. And can maybe help us push through just enough damage, maybe with the Celebrants or something, to have a good attack with them. So we need to add, I think, 1 Plains to this deck, because we have Honored Heirloom plus Evolving Wilds plus a Plains, so that's 3 splash cards. our 3 sources for our splash for the backside of Path of Peril here, which I think is fine. And then we can do 8-7 because most of our low drops are red. I think this seems fine. So again, really interesting draft. I don't know if we ended up in the correct deck. Well, I know for certain after our last pick, Braincomber, we didn't end up in the correct deck. But I'm interested in if you guys have any insight on if there was a path for me to get deep into blue-white here without passing up or ever giving up on what was our best card at the time. Very interesting decision-making in this draft. This is one that could have a lot of learning opportunities for myself and yourself included, obviously. So here we are before our first game, and I'd like to remind you to go ahead and hit that subscribe button to help me out as far as the metrics of the channel go. I would love to have more subscribers, and you know what? If you get in now, you get to get in before ads come, which is a pretty big bonus. You don't have any ads on this video for as long as I have less than 1,000 subscribers. And right now I've got a lot less than 1,000 subscribers, but every subscriber counts. I'm grateful for each and every one of you. So if you go ahead and like this video and hit that subscribe button, it'd be greatly appreciated. So let's go ahead and see how this black-red deck does. I have mixed emotions about how well it has the ability to do here. So we shall see. Not a bad hand. I think we can keep it. We have all 3 colors of mana. We can do 1 drop, 2 drop, and then hold up a Braid while cracking the wilds. I think we'll need to abrade that. Yeah, we can go ahead and do that now so that we can crack the wild. So let's go ahead and kill that. We'll go ahead and crack the wilds for our only planes. Okay, I'm not particularly scared of that card, I don't think. All right. So we'll play the Raconteur here. So we are playing a bit grindier of a deck, which is nice because with them milling themselves for 2 every turn, that'll really help us out. So obviously they're bluffing some sort of trick or actually have a trick, so I don't think we need to try to get blown out by double blocking here. They flip it to Knight, which is nice for us. We don't have a way to gain life, so let's start by getting rid of a mountain here. It's a good draw for us. Play the Courier Bat. They likely have a way to kill the Ravager. Oh god. Okay. That's pretty good. We can still attack at least. All right. Fortunately, our Flame Blessed Bolt doesn't line up very well on this board. And that kind of locks down the ground for them. Are we willing to trade a Bolt and a Flame Breather for a Lancer? Maybe because we can get them both back next turn? I think that actually seems fine. Okay, so we'll play the land. We'll go ahead and get back our 2 creatures here and then play the Flame Breather. And then we can attack for 4 as well. Hopefully they keep milling other creatures and drawing other lands. That would be nice. Alright, so we can't block that. Reckless Impulse is a pretty good draw here, so let's go ahead and... I know we're going to flip it back to day for the Ravager, but I think it's something we need to do. We'll play Impulse, deal them 4 damage. Play the land and then the bat here. We don't have great attacks, so it flips back to day. Next turn we can we can use the Scavenger to get rid of a creature, drain them for 2 more. Interesting attack, because now we can attack them back with the bat. Would like to play the Celebrants, but we need to get the Scavenger online. What do we want to get rid of? Probably the Spider, maybe the Catapult Fodder. Let's get rid of the Catapult Fodder. Go ahead and attack them in the air. I don't think any of this has reach. Nope. So any non-creature spell next turn we win, unless they have something to say about it. Put a stop on their upkeep in case this needs to flip. All right, so 2, 3, 4, 5. I think we have another Flame Blessed Bolt, so I'm going to go ahead and loot this away, leaving up a red. That won't do it. We don't have great attacks here, unfortunately. Yeah, no good attacks. I might loot this away as well to give us 2 shots to find a non-creature spell to kill them here. Build a removal spell and a land. Okay, so do we loot? I think we do loot this way. This isn't doing anything on this battlefield. So there's the bolt. So if we put this on the stack, theoretically we just win. And there it is. All right, here we are in round 2. A bit of an awkward draw, but we do have a lot of 2-drops in the hand, and we're not going to be mulliganing this. 2 drops in the deck, I mean. So I think next turn we're going to have to play Honored Heirloom to make sure we can open up more more mana for the following turns. Oh my gosh, how many times do I have to deal with that card? Yeah, I'm just getting rid of it now. I'm not going to let that stick around. That has been the rare I've played against the absolute most in this format. Okay, so we at least have an Abrade for that. We can play the Scavenger next turn to trade. So I think what we're going to do and get rid of that Hiveheart Shaman in their graveyard. Okay, they'll just go ahead and kill it, which is fine. We have another one. Okay, so we have access to 6, 7 mana, so we can do Weary Prisoner plus Pointed Discussion, Diregraph Scavenger, but I'd like to get value out of exiling a creature from their yard. We don't... The problem is, if we play Weary Prisoner, we don't have good blocks on the Crawler if they equip the Ripsaw. So I'd actually like to, as much as we might like to get this back with Blood Fountain later, we'd be taking 6, 7, 8. We'd be going down to 5 if we played the Weary Prisoner. And I don't think we're in the business of being able to do that. So I will go ahead and exile a creature here just to get that value, and then we'll draw 2. I think we can trade at this point. I know they're drawing a card, but we have a lot of beefy creatures coming on the backside here as well. So we have 6, 7, 8 mana next turn, so we can cast 2 4-drops. Okay. There's the Blood Fountain. So we have 6, 7, 8 mana. Yeah, I think we just need to cast our 2 4-drops here. And after we do this, once we cast the Celebrants, we probably don't need any more lands for the rest of the game. So they can give the Spiked Ripsaw to the Sharpshooter, but don't have good attacks with it. They can give it to the Visionary, and then we can double block. But that does leave us open to removal. Yeah, so they're just going to do it. And if they have removal, then we're in big trouble here. Yeah, so they're leaving up mana for 3 mana. Can I think of something that can deal 4 damage? Maybe they have a Rending Flame? That would be bad if they do, but we can't take 8. Could also have Wolf Strike, I guess. Witch's Web. Yeah, that does it too. At least both of our creatures don't die, though, so it's still a 1-for-1. So let's play 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's play Celebrants. We'll play Blood Fountain, and then we can hold up Bolt here. Bolt is not great on this board, but we'll see what they choose to do. So next turn we can get back both of these cards, Raconteur and Scavenger. We do have a creature to exile from their yard to get value off of the Scavenger, which is good. Okay, so they're attacking again. Resolve. Not going to sack, I wouldn't think. So let's trade and bounce, or at least attempt to trade. Okay, it worked. Pack leader, okay. That's a good bolt target. We'll just do that now. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4. We could probably just return this one and probably the Raconteur, to be honest. Yeah, we have 4 blood tokens, so I don't think we need too many more. Let's get this one back. Then we'll go ahead and get rid of probably the Visionary out of their yard, and then keep the land so we can discard it to more blood tokens here. So they're going to train their Sharpshooter, and we can bounce their Wolf with the Prisoner, hopefully. But then we could just trade with the Sharpshooter with the Scavenger, assuming they don't have removal. If they do, that's not great news for us. Don't think we've used our Abrade yet, so we can get rid of that Ripsaw with the Abrade if we do draw it. They are going to get in. Or not. Okay. So there's the Abrade. So that's a great draw for us. Let's go 1, 2, 3, 4. Play the Raconteur. Do we just fire this off now? I think we do. Let's just go ahead and fire off the Abrade now. Yeah. And then we'll hold up a blood token here. Do we have any 1-drops? I don't think we have any Epicures. We've already used our Blood Fountain. I think we're fine to pass. Let's get rid of the land here. And it is our plains, but we do have an honored heirloom. Now, I doubt they're going to be wanting to destroy this. And if they do, that makes our our wrath a lot worse. But I'd be shocked if they try to get rid of our honored heirloom. So there's a bolt, which is good. We can get rid of the wolf, or even the other wolf if they try to block. So it flips to knight, which is great. See what we can find off of this mountain here. Okay, let's see what we can find off of this Evolving Wilds. Celebrants. Okay, so we can do Celebrants and hold up Bolt, so let's get in with the Jailbreaker because we have to. They have an instant. Well, they could just have a Snarling Wolf activation. We'll go ahead and get rid of that now. Don't have good blocks anymore. Have to take 6, and then we play a 4/4 Menace. Gives us 2 more blood. Does flip it today, but I'm alright with that. So another impulse. I think we can do that. So let's put the Flame Breather down here. We can cast this now and just use the cards next turn. It's a little bit more mana efficient. We won't be able to use them this turn, but I think that's all right. Gives us 2 triggers here. And there's another Flame Breather. We won't be able to discard that, so if we attack with everything, do we just win? I guess we do, because this has Menace, and they haven't had priority. So yeah, I guess that might just do it then. And there we go. This deck has performed a lot better than I thought it would, and we haven't even drawn our Wrath necessarily. Not necessarily at all. We've had a little... We don't have an enormous creature count in this deck, but it seems to be... We seem to be clogging down the board just fine, because we have a ton of removal. We can remove basically whatever we need to from their side to make sure we can stabilize. And then we can get a ton of value from those late blood tokens. You saw we had like 6 lands we discarded to those, which is great. Yikes. So this hand needs low drops and swamps and low drops that aren't black. This has the ability to go very wrong. I don't think we can keep... Oh my gosh, are you kidding me? Man, okay, so a red really opens up this hand, and I hate going to 5. So I guess we just hope we draw a red. Thank God. Could have been a disaster. Oops. Okay. We're just going to go ahead and bluff attack here. They call it, which is fine. Pretty good draw there. We're still only able to single spell because we only have 1 red out, but if they try to do anything funny with their ghoul, we can just kill it. Blood Hypnotist. Okay. I think that's something we might need to Rending Flame here, although... Yeah, let's just go ahead and be mana efficient and use our mana. Get rid of their Blood Hypnotist. I think we're just going to go ahead and use Celebrants, and then we can attack with both. Headless Rider. Okay, that's a great target for Flame Blessed Bolt. 1, 2, 3. We'll do the Heirloom. So they're getting some sort of priority here. Let's do Bolt on the Rider. Because they're getting some sort of priority and Sure Strike and things, I think I'm just going to attack with the Celebrants. There's no need to try to push in for 1 extra damage with our current position on the board. Okay, so they have their own Celebrants. Courier Bat. So do we trade Celebrants for Celebrants here? I think it's a fine trade for us. They still have priority, but it could be just the blood tokens. Hopefully it's not Undying Malice. That wouldn't be great. Okay, that's fine. We'll trade. And we'll play our Courier Bat. Sure. Okay. Not a bad draw for them. Do we trade a Kessig Flame Breather for a Mind Leech Ghoul? I don't think so. I think we're the ones that are aggressive here. They're at 9. We're at 17. They get another blood, but I think that's fine. Let's just, in case they have something like a blood fountain, we can get rid of that. Ancestral Anger, it does cantrip, so let's just go ahead and cast that. Hopefully they don't kill the Flame Breather in response. They don't. Sure, let's just cast that. Alright, now they're at 4, and any non-creature is lethal if they don't remove either of these. That won't do it. Okay, that doesn't help. I think we can pass it tonight. I mean, we're going to have to. We don't really want to attack either. Maybe they bleed dry our Raconteur end step. Six, 7, 8 lands so far. It's not awful. So again, any non-creature spell is lethal. Sounds very familiar to a draft we had a few days ago, maybe mid last week, where we had like 4 chances at any lethal non-creature spell and then went ahead and lost because we didn't find it. Looks like that should be one that'll do it. There we go. Awesome. All right, with the new season climbing our way back out of gold. So we are playing against Abracadabra Elakazen. We'll keep. Would love to draw a swamp, obviously, but we have 2 plays before that, if we don't. Pretty good draw there, so we'll play the Flame Breather. We'll go ahead and crack that for a swamp. Probably just pointed discussion next turn, unless they somehow get a creature into their yard. Or maybe just Raconteur then. I could counter it though. Let's see, no priorities here. They might counter our Raconteur, but in the interest of mana efficiency and saving this, I think I'd just like to play it. Yeah, so it looks like they will counter it, unfortunately. But we have a decent backup here. We have another 5-drop. We got a point of discussion, so we've got some things that we can do. Let's cast the point of discussion. Okay, so we can do, I guess, planes here, because we'll need that at some point, and we'll hold up Bolt. We could probably get rid of this extra swamp with our last blood token, so let's pass the turn. Scattered Thoughts is fine. So they bend a counterspell here. And no creatures went to the yard, unfortunately, for our Scavenger. Blood Fountain, okay. Still no creatures in their yard. See if they want to attack. They don't. So we'll get rid of the swamp. And draw our Wrath. So we need 6 mana for the Wrath, so I think we need to play this swamp. So let's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 play Celebrants here, holding up Bolt, and holding up our Wrath if things get a little crazy. And again, we'll get the triggers from the Flame Breathers prior to all of our creatures dying, which is something to note if it ever comes down to that in this game. Great target for the Bolt here. And it also puts a creature in their yard for the Scavenger. So that helped us out quite a bit. Ragged Recluse, okay. What we can do is we can save the Bolt if they go for a double block with the Butler plus one of their 3/3s. And then we can 2-for-1 them and get rid of their Butler by exiling it. Oh, okay. No, okay, I didn't think so. So they'll transform that. I think I want to go for that line. So let's go to combat here. We'll see if they try to double block with Butler and a 3/3. Looks like they do. We'll go ahead and exile Butler. And then eat their 3/3. Then we'll play a Scavenger and a Blood Fountain. Ah, man, I forgot about the Recluse. Probably would have rather exiled that, but that's okay. Great combo here with Path of Peril to help us get out of any sort of insane bomb they play, and then we can return the Blood Fountain. Return some things with the Blood Fountain if we need to. Your Hull Mimic is a really good card. We have to make sure that doesn't come back on top of something unchecked, because if it does, then we're in big trouble here. Yeah, sure, let's go ahead and Ancestral Anger. Suppose we can anger... Not sure it really matters. I don't think we're attacking this turn. Okay, let's Impulse here. Play a land. I think we want to abrade their Cruel Witness. Because again, we don't want the other side of Mimic to come back. Otherwise, we might have to Wrath the board. And so if we attack with Celebrants, they have to double block, which is good for us. Actually, if we attack with everything, they have to double block the Celebrants. And no matter what. Then they're left with a 2/2. In the backside of this... Will they let me read the backside of it? I believe it it disturbs for 5, and then when it comes down, it creates a copy at the beginning of their upkeep of the creature. I'm not sure if it can only target non-tokens, because they're going to get a token off the Dissenter. But they're going to 1 here, so... You know, there's not much else they can do. Oh, it has Trample as well, so I guess they're going to 0. Okay, that works. All right, let's see, was I right about that? Create a token that's a copy of enchanted creature, except it's a spirit. Yeah, so you can do it on tokens as well. A little bit of a combo finish there, so that was nice. Oh boy, so we go first. If we draw even if we draw a swamp, we can play Pointed Discussion to try to get us out of it. Any mountain is an insanely good hand. Let's keep it. Again, has the potential to go wrong, but mulliganing in limited is bad news. Mountain. Never did inhabit. So I think we just play Pointed Discussion here. Gives us more options for next turn. See if they have destroy target attacking creature. Looks like they don't. Next turn we can play Raconteur, and then the following turn Impulse plus Rending Flame, and kind of go crazy. So Brine Comber's a good card for them, obviously. We'll play Swamp. We won't be blocking, so let's see if they want to jump here. Looks like they don't. And we'll just play our 4/4, or 2/4, I guess. Interesting decision to use the Innistrad lands in addition to the Theros lands. Maybe they're just splashing white here, and they just put one of them in. And their defaults of the Theros lands. Who knows? Oh, nope. They're going all in on all kinds of different lands here. Ah, Mirror Hall Mimic again. Okay. Alright, so Rending Flame on that is not great because they can start making copies. We do have Path of Peril here. Maybe we can just kind of start sandbagging a little bit till we find our white and just kind of destroy everything. Let's start by impulsing. That's really awkward. Probably going to have to use our blood token to try to hit a mountain here. Do we get rid of the swamp, though, is the question. I think we do. That's really bad. Okay, so next turn, all we can do is play a Flame Breather. Maybe an Anger and hope to hit another mountain. This is a little awkward here. Okay, so there's the mountain. We can do Flame Breather, Mountain, Anger. And then we'll see what we draw. Hopefully we draw one of our white sources. There it is. Hopefully they dump their hand and play 3 or 4 creatures here. That won't do it. Okay, so we're probably going to be priced into Wrathing now, because we don't want to play our creatures. So we can try to attack with both of these, but we might miss a couple triggers off the Path of Peril, so let's just... I know they get these things back as disturb creatures, but we at least have a removal spell for one of them, which is good. So let's just clear this board. And see, they do get the first chance to rebuild, but next turn we can go Rending Flame and Weary Prisoner, which is good. They have a Shield Basher. We're probably going to have to Rending Flame that, because if they start enchanting it, we're in trouble. Yes, they get a 1/1. We'll go ahead and play our mountain. We'll go ahead and Rending Flame. And then be mana efficient with the Weary Prisoner. They don't have a great target right now for the Mimic, but, well, maybe they do. Just making a bunch of 1/1s seems fun. Oh, they can do ours too. Yikes. Forgot about that. So now our creature needs to die? Wow, that's busted. That's so good. So let's play Celebrants. 3, 4, 5. Let's get rid of a land, I think. Huh. It's going to be difficult, because they're going to be making a 2/6 defender every single turn. Unless this dies, which it won't, because we need to be attacking with it for it to have a chance to die. This is a little ugly here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So we do have 7 mana. We can return something. Diver's Scob. Jeez. Okay. Gonna return our... They're basically going to kill our Celebrants here. Do we want to draw another one? No. Because I think our plan is Scavenger, exile a creature, play Courier Bat to get back Raconteur, play Raconteur, and then start trying to non-creature spell them out. So I don't think we want to put this on top. So my turn. It's a decent draw there. We'll go Scavenger. We're going to get rid of the Shield Basher. Play Courier Bat. Get back Raconteur. They get another 2/6. As long as it's day, those can't be attacking, which is good, although there's another flyer, which is not good. And we're at 11, so I think we have to trade here. This doesn't feel great. Okay, so we definitely need to Scavenger think we need to play this land as well. So let's play the land. What we will play the scavenger. Gonna go ahead and get rid of probably our flame breather here. Play the Raconteur. They're at 5. I don't know if we're gonna be able to push through this final damage. They could double block. I think we might have decent attacks here with our scavenger. So let's see what they do. They take it. Okay. It's pretty good news for us. We can flip it. So we can... They have to have an answer to our Raconteur here. Otherwise, they might have left themselves dead. That's not an answer. We might be dead next turn, but... Depends on what we draw here. Okay, they have nothing to get back. So we take 5. So next turn we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So we can cast Anji, use it twice, and then drain them. So let's get rid of the prisoner. Although it doesn't seem like it matters because I think we can just drain them. Wow. What a top deck. That was insane. So we were dead next turn, and I don't know if there was a way we were going to get out of it, but that was a heck of a top deck. All right, let's keep trucking along here. A bit slow, but we'll keep. Could have a turn 4 Celebrants, so that's good. It's also a decent draw. Undead Butler. Okay, so we have a scavenger to deal with one of those cards. Okay. I think we'll just go ahead and play Celebrants here. So next turn we have 6 mana. Oh god. Okay. So if we attack and they double block, I doubt they're double blocking here. We need to get this to the graveyard and exile it. We also have Honored Heirloom to exile something. Let's go ahead and attack here. Alright, so let's play Anji. Hopefully they don't remove it. Although in black there's a, oh geez, Dormant Grove. They get us a 4/4 flying haste. Hit us for 8, maybe 9 if they put the counter on the Hellkite. Okay, this is getting to be a little interesting here. Okay. Can't do anything. I guess we're going to go ahead and get rid of a blood token to drain them. So we have access to 6/7 mana, so we can Scavenger plus Courier Bat here. Let's do that. Can first get in. So they're going to chump, which makes sense. Well, we don't get anything back with Courier Bat, unfortunately. But I think we might need to just play it. Yeah, let's just play it, because next turn we might just have lethal if they don't get rid of Anji. Okay, so we're not going to block the Hellkite if they attack, but I don't know if they will, because they might see the lethal line. Okay, they will. They don't have an instant, so do they have removal? That won't do it. Oh, it has vigilance. Dang. Forgot about that. Okay. So 6, 7, 8 mana. We can just win. So 1, 2. Get rid of a blood token. 1, 2. Get rid of a blood token. Get rid of a creature. And get rid of a creature. And that'll do it. Anji, heck of a card, huh? Mythic versus rare here. We got the better side of that one, but that was a really close game. All right, can we get there with one more? We're on the draw. A bit of a slow hand, but it's fine. Get a black with the Evolving Wilds. Could also just get a white with it now. Okay. We don't have a lot of plays before turn 3, and our turn 3 requires us to lose 2 more life, so hopefully we don't get too far behind here. We might have to just remove something next turn instead of drawing 2 cards and losing 2 life. Okay. So I think we'll hold up Rending Flame, and the next turn we have a 4-drop, and then we have another 4-drop, so we can start to stabilize the board. They're still stuck on red unless they're playing mono red, although the Honored Heirloom does give them access to a second color here. I think if they attack for 2, I'm just going to take it and see what they play post-combat. Sure. I'm just going to be mana efficient here and use my mana. Okay, that's fine if they want to use a syncopate on that. Well, so they might have lacerate flesh. If they're blue-red, lacerate flesh is the only thing I could think that would remove this, but not this. So I think I'm going to go ahead and play, They have lacerate flesh next turn. We're taking 1, 2, 3 in addition. 3 isn't bad, and we can still play Weary Prisoner the following turns. Let's get the Raconteur down first. We are going to have to fire off this point of discussion here at some point soon to make sure we don't die to the life at some point. Dream Shacklegeist, that needs to die. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and impulse here because we need to find an answer to the Dream Shacklegeist. I feel like if we can do that, we're pretty stable. They've only got 1 card left in hand here, so... Oh, that's awkward. Okay. So we'll play a land, and I think we need to just do this because we don't want to exile Anji. Next turn we're basically going to have to play Anji. So let's do Courier Bat. They can tap it down with Shacklegeist on their turn, but at least the Raconteur can still block if they don't kill either of these. No attacks. Okay, no kill. Another Epicure. I think that's fine on this board. They don't want to rummage away their blood token. So we're going to 6 now. Next turn we're going to 3. Next turn we're dying. Okay, so I wanted to play Heirloom plus Anji, but we need to do Anji and hold up the ability so that we don't literally die. Although here we are on the back foot pretty hard. Okay, resolves. Really struggling to decide what to do here. Okay, so this forces us to use Anji if they attack like this. Okay, so it flips to night. We have access to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 mana. If we play this, we still have access to 5 mana, which means we can go up to 6, which is not good enough. Yeah, so we play Honored Heirloom. We have access to 5 mana, which means we can sacrifice 2 creatures. And they still tap this down, so we have to dig. Point of discussion, which also means we lose. So I think our only out in the entire deck, and I'm not even sure it's an out, is sacrificing the Courier Bat right now. to gain life. Point of discussion, find a Flame Blessed Bolt, kill the Dream Shacklegeist, but at that point I think we're still dead. But let's see, I mean, that's about all we can do. So let's get rid of the Courier Bat. Now we have to pointed discussion into something. I don't even know what. In anger. Yep, unfortunately it looks like we could not pull out the 7-0, but we were close, we were close. We just didn't really have a play till turn 3, and we didn't draw play till turn 3. And then in turn 4, they played Shacklegeist, and then every creature we played was just getting tapped down, and we were just kind of on the back foot really the whole game there and didn't really draw removal. We have a lot of removal in the deck, and we didn't find any of it, so we weren't able to get out of that one, although I think we had a pretty good chance to do so. 3, 4, 5 seems okay. There is value to playing a Mountain to hold up Bolt here. Because they are playing white, they could play something like Drogskull Infantry. I think I'm going to do that. That way next turn we can... There we go. That's exactly why we do that. And then we still get to go here and find a white. That's an easy target for Rending Flame. Okay. Raconteur or Diagraph Scavenger. I think I'm willing to go Scavenger to make sure they can't get back this Welcoming Vampire here. Hopefully no more flyers. I feel like flyers might be the way that we could lose this game here. Well, that's exactly a flyer. I don't think we're winning this race right now, especially because they can get lifelink if they really want it. So they don't want to give lifelink, which means they have a post-combat play. There it is. And a Fleeting Spirit. Okay. So we have 5 mana. I think we need to play this land to have access to 6 here. This race is going to be very difficult to win, but we can't sit back because we don't have flyers. So we'll go ahead and trade. And then we'll play these 2 here. We're still taking 5 in the air. And they're gaining life here, so. I think we need to try to make this double block. Hopefully they don't have a trick. If they do, things are getting a little ugly here. Okay, they don't. So we just need to find an answer to these flyers somewhere. So let's Reckless Impulse, see what we can find. It's not really an answer to flyers. Let's go to combat and attack. We have not gained life yet this turn. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So if we draw land next turn, we can go Scavenger plus Courier Bat, returning Scavenger. But I don't know if that's worth risking yet. Definitely going to get rid of Kindly Ancestor here. And we don't need that there anymore. So they can hit us for 5. And gain 2, or gain 3, gain 4, gain 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. No, they can gain 4 life. So we're not winning this race. But we do have a Courier Bat to at least chump, assuming they didn't draw removal. There's another Impulse. Let's do that first. See if we find anything better. That's also just lethal, I forgot, because we have the Ravager. Okay, that works out. Awesome. Well, you know, we were oh so close to our first 7-0 of the format, but we did get our first 7-1 of the format, and another nice trophy here with the deck that I was a little bit suspect about. But, you know, I'm never going to complain about a 7-1. The Wrath did some work for us in that one game. And you know what's funny? I think the one time we cast the Wrath, I think that's the one game we lost. Funny how that works. But, you know, a really good value deck. Lots of good creatures, not lots of good non-creatures. Everything kind of worked well with the synergy of that deck. And Anji really led us to victory once or twice, which happens a lot in this format. So, you know, thanks so much for sticking around to the end of the video. Really appreciate it. It looks like that'll do it for this one. Thanks everyone for tuning in, and I will see you tomorrow for your daily draft.